In today's equity index futures markets, let's take a look at the S&P 500 future as we close out the month of August. We are seeing the S&P 500 futures down slightly on the day, down about 8 handles. We did see them positive throughout the afternoon, but unable to hold those gains, and nonetheless settling just slightly below the 3,500 handle. But when we look at the S&P 500 futures for the month of August, we're seeing them up better than 7%, so a very strong month for those futures. And I want to point out that some of the driving factors today, I think you got to point at China data overnight. PMI data came in stronger than expected, particularly when it was focused on service sector and the agricultural sector. I think that was a catalyst why we did see the futures higher throughout most of the session. Couple that with the tech names that split today. Tesla and Apple split, and that had a beneficial impact on the NASDAQ futures. Not so much on the Dow futures, but nonetheless, I think that was another, at least, catalyst to continue this upward momentum initially that we did see in the S&P 500 futures. But then we had some selling pressure throughout the day, and particularly late in the day in the banks and in some of the oil names, and I think that was the ultimate reason why we saw those S&P 500 futures settling slightly lower on the day. Looking at some of the trends going into the month of September, I want to point out, as I mentioned, the Dow had a reshuffle today. The index reshuffled, and there's changes there as we had some names come in and names go out. With Apple splitting, that had an impact on the Dow index as well, and certainly that had an impact on the Dow futures. So I think that's something to pay attention to as we move into the month of September. There's been some changes there that will impact the Dow futures. And also looking at the micro E-mini options started trading today, and we did see some pretty decent action in both September and October on the S&P 500 micro E-mini options and the NASDAQ micro E-mini options as well. So those listed and were started trading overnight, and we did see some pretty decent action and out of the money call activity and out of the money put activity for the first day of trading on those options.